is ANN News Brief.
I'm Lucy Adeyemi. The ECOWAS delegation to Mali, led by Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, says it was hopeful after meeting with the country's military junta and ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. Former President Jonathan said ousted President Keita, whom the delegation met in detention, is doing relatively well. Jonathan said negotiations were going well with the junta that seized power last Tuesday. Regional leaders and foreign experts say Mali's military coup has dealt another deep blow to the country, where a brutal Islamist insurgency is rife. The regional bloc has called for Keita's reinstatement, and the visiting leaders say the reason for their visit was to work for the immediate return of constitutional order. ECOWAS Commission Chief Jean-Claude Cassibro says he expects everything to be finalized today, Monday. Uganda has registered the highest coronavirus infection ever in a single day, 318 positive cases. This has prompted the government to warn the public on laxity. It promises severe consequences if no change is evident in people's attitude. The government says the COVID-19 pandemic will worsen and might lead the affected areas into a lockdown to prevent the lives of the most vulnerable city dwellers if the public continues to ignore compliance guidelines to stop the disease. The capital, Kampala, is a new hotspot for COVID-19 infections and deaths since the lockdown restrictions were eased in June. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Tanzania now has the largest number of internet users on the African continent, nearly 27 million. The trend is being fueled by low data and smartphone costs. The country's telecommunications regulator says this figure represents an internet and smartphone penetration of 40% of the population. The World Bank says Tanzania is among the top 5 African countries for social media use and that Instagram is the most used application in the country. A report by technology think tank Research ICT Africa shows internet data charges in Tanzania are the cheapest in East Africa, and the East African region itself has one of the cheapest internet subscriptions on the African continent. That is the ANN News Brief at 11. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.